You're fine.
You're good.
I'm on time. I swear.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we just said. You're always on time. We're
Yeah.
the ones that are early.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Yeah, we got you, bro.
What are we doing again? We're going over IGVG and what roll 8?
No, just in general.
Oh, in general.
Yeah.
Hold on.
The group 8 stuff. I think it was time I had to talk to you about. So
Yeah, there's.
you set that up a different time.
I'm trying to find a good time for them, but right now they're all over the place.
Okay, so this is just
Get it time.
IGVG in general.
Yeah, it's just IGVG in general.
Like that might actually just
Okay.
be between 2 people because there are only 2 that can get on regularly, and they'll just have to spread the information to the others.
So there's only 2 of you guys in here right now.
Oh no! Everybody else in here is here for that for the regular
You're
IGVG.
recording it, right?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, Sage.
Yo.
Yo, Sage.
How do I explain this? Hold on. I'm gonna find a raid plan. Possibly.
Make wall.
Possibly.
Does anybody have a VOD? Can we just go over it? Then I'll go over like the specifics of what you should be doing.
I got you. Let me find a good one.
Honored.
It's probably the
Lord
best.
Times VOD.
Let me find a good one.
Oh, can you send it to me? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Makes it easier.
The question is, which one will be good to watch? Nice. Farming. Oh, come on.
Okay.
Lock her in.
Lock it in. All right. Gear wise, right? I don't know if you do this prior to like VOD reviews or if like somebody's actively VOD reviewing, but it's really good to like press tab and then just hover over your gear before a VOD, just so that the person VOD reviewing can see it prior, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just like one like snippet for like anybody in any like VOD review situation. So like if somebody's like, if Nova's like VOD reviewing me consistently, I'll start doing that so that he like sees it, right? Or like somebody else wants to like do it, I'll just start doing that more often to see it so that people can like look at it before prior. There is a lot of debate right now with IGVG whether you should be using orb on your VG or scream on your VG. If anybody has known about that, the reason why there's a debate is because orb is significantly stronger. Just diminishing orb, if nobody knows, but diminishing orb is significantly stronger on the void gauntlet, right? So it's about like a 70 something % compared to almost like maybe 40 or something like that on your gear. And then plague, right? Petrifying scream is only around like I can't remember off the top of my head right now, like maybe like 30 or 40% on your VG on your VG, but then on your gear is only like it's significantly less, obviously, right? But the problem is that when you're screaming somebody and then I'm screaming somebody and we both have the VG with scream on like with scream on our VGs, we're already plaguing the guy out, right? So play cap is at 50%. So we're already at over that percentage. So it's kind of like a dead perk, right? Essentially. But then at the same time, right? If we don't have like if one of us has VG or orb on our VG, but the other one has um, orb on their gear, then we also cancel each other's shit out, right? It's the same thing with Scream, very similar. So pretty much for everybody, for it to work correctly, everybody needs to run it, right? So if everybody wants to run orb on their void gauntlet, then everybody should run orb on their void gauntlet. Because if you don't in the army, you're canceling everybody else out. You're basically cucking everyone else. So gear check everybody. If everybody's running putrefying Scream, I'm sorry, I'm sick by the way. But if everybody's running Scream, then just allow everybody to run Scream, right? And then if everybody wants to run the Void Gauntlet or with Orb, which I like, a lot of us will argue that Orb is a lot stronger on VG. It's just harder for everybody to run, right? Because like nobody wants to switch all that over, so a lot of us won't do it. So it's dependent on your army, on what you want to do as a IGVG lead or anything like that, or whoever the governor is in here. If you want to just make a bunch of VGs with fucking orb on it, then your entire army needs to run it with orb on it. If not, then I mean, most of us don't even like at the higher tiers won't even run orb on our gear in general. We just won't run it at all. I don't know why. I think we would rather prioritize conditioning, especially since the TTK for most of the wars are like super quick, except for like the really high ass tier wars and like fucking heaters and COI, which the time to kill is just like not that long.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't even run orb on my gear.
Yeah, so you don't need to run. You don't need to, but it's just a thing that a lot of us talk about. So basically, the whole job of IGVG, your primary job in everybody's mind when you're running IGVG is literally to block exits. That is your job. That is your job to do, is to block exits and then debuff the point. I like to say spread aids. So that's basically what it is, right? You're basically blocking exits, spreading aids. That's all you're doing the entire time, right? Obviously, right? I don't know if you guys have talked about this before, and I'm sure you guys have. The point, right? Your right type right quad, your top left quad, your bot left quad, and your bot right quad, right? So basically, you're trying to shower the perspective area of the crash, right? So if you're this quad, you're coming in to shower this way. If you're the top right quad, you're coming in to shower this way, and then vice, like same exact thing here for these guys, right? You guys are trying to block in as many of these people into the shower as you can. The biggest mistake for a lot of people, and like I'm gonna be completely truthful with like everyone, if you're dying more than 3 or 4 times in a war, it's because one, your positioning's terrible and you don't understand how crashes look, so you don't have enough experience, right? Or 2, you're getting in the middle of these crashes for no fucking reason, and that's not what your job. Your job isn't supposed to be like that. Bruisers get into this shit, you know what I mean? This is their job. Their job is to get in here and deado and crash because there's the healers prioritizing them. Your job is not to get into the middle of that. Your job is to be on the outside to block exits and spread aids. That is all your job is to do. Okay. With a little bit more stuff, we'll just go over here. Okay, so this is just some min-maxing stuff just to make sure that you guys are doing this properly. I will never VOD review somebody twice if I don't see them ice refreshing themselves over and over again. This has increased your uptime. And by ice refreshing, I mean your ice shower should always, actually, sorry. Yeah, your ice shower should always be first and then your storm. And you should be walking into your ice shower and then using your storm. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so everyone understands that you need to walk into your shower and then storm. The reason why is because there's a 20% CDR when you're in a frosted area. There's a lot of people who will like to go the other direction and say I would drop my storm and then put my shower there. But then now that your storm determines where your shower goes now, and it's just not like worth, in my opinion, right? I would rather shower like the point like this, in a pie formation, you know, to stop like zergs, or I would rather shower the crash off or the back end of the crash off, right, and then re-step into the corner, So like I would shower, walk out if I need to, then re-step into the corner, and then drop my storm, and then drop my storm. Now this is dependent on how you are as a person and what type of tier wars you're doing, right? So there's a lot of people in the higher tier wars who will drop their storm on the healer pocket. Okay, and the reason why is because they're trying to take the diamond perk off of the healers, which gives them extra healing. So it makes sense in your head, right?
Hmm.
There's a lot of us who, like me included, when I'm playing lower tier wars, will just not give a fuck about my gameplay, and I will literally just storm the biggest clump I can find because I'm a stat pattern, right? So it's up to you, right? I'm not telling you that it's wrong to put your storm on the clumps, because if you don't have vines up, it is probably better for you to put it onto the clumps anyways, because you need your vines, right? So more damage, more vines, blah 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 blah, all that other shit, right? But then in higher tier wars, if you're not having that uptime and you're not stepping into your shower to drop the storm onto the healers, they're having uptime on their diamond the entire time. So like it's all a give or take type of situation. So just think about that next time. But the biggest thing I want you to grasp out of all that I just explained is being able to step into your shower and then storming. Okay, shower, storm. Always step into your shower before you storm, because that CDR is insane. You want that CDR to happen, and this is part of the reason why this takes away from the whole second thought process of I always need to have my shower up during crashes, or I can take out of my head the thought process of having to know when the crashes are happening, so that I can have my shower up, right? So there's a lot of people who are like, hold your showers for like basically only the crashes. Well, now you don't have any uptime, you don't have any damage, and you're not doing anything for the army if you're just holding on to all these abilities, right? So you should always just be pumping out your abilities nonstop. Our entire ability trees and everything that we do as an IGVG is dependent on the fact that we can rotate our abilities consistently and debuff / block exits, right? Spread aids and block exits. That's all we're made for. So again, to grasp everything out of that TDLR, right? You're basically, every time you're showering, you're walking into your shower and then you're storming off point into that healer pocket or on top of the fucking club. Either one. And then right here, this is just really rough positioning, right? So first, immediately off rip, right? Again, it doesn't matter. It does not matter, right? How many people are here, or like the fact that it just started. If you just shower like this, one, that'll slow these guys down from just over pressuring your road immediately. And then two, you walk into this and then you storm, right? So now you have this, and including your CDR, to come back down by 20% on both of your abilities. And now your abilities are going to come back even quicker. And that's going to give it a better and higher chance for you to have those abilities up during a crash. Make sense? So just use it like that.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
would have showered here, right? And then I would have stepped into it, and then I would have, like, tried to get my vines by doing the storm, and then boom, it would have been 11 seconds, and this would have been 7 seconds, right? So this is just like, it's dumb not to do this. You know what I mean? It's an okay shower. The biggest thing right here is, you have 12 pods right here, by the way. But before you go into a crash, you want to pre-pot regen pots, right? There is an argument right now where a lot of people, or a lot of IGVGs, or a lot of higher tier players in general, aren't running health pots. We're all running mana pots with healthy toast on our earrings, so that you have double fucking heals just incoming to you. So that's up to you guys if you guys want to play it that way. I still think health pot and then regen pots are still like really really good to have. Especially as an IGVG, because you guys are not prioritized for a healer, right? The healer is never going to look at you first in this clump. If I'm at 25% health, but my other bruiser's at 25% health, they're going to focus the bruiser and not me, okay? So I would always have that healing pot ready for it. Just pre-pot, and then right here, you entombed, which is fine, but just jump. Don't dodge. See how you stand block yourself right here? You immediately just killed yourself, right? Or like in an army that knows how to like, in an army who knows how, like, what to do, they'll literally just call you out for stand blocking yourself and dog you down and kill you. So don't stand block yourself. I would say most of the time in almost every one of my wars, I will always just jump out of shit. Okay, just jump, jump, jump. We're just hopping around the fucking point everywhere we can. And the reason why we're hopping everywhere is because one, we're trying to stay out of the range of these players. We're trying to stay out of the range of them being able to grab us or anything like that. And then I'm just gonna have the ability to hop out of it, right? And that's my immediate reaction is to hop out. Once I entomb, I'm immediately dodging first. You can dodge first, right? But just hop after. Because if you double stand lock or stam yourself, you're just gonna stand lock yourself. That was huge, right? Never open up with orb though. Okay, do we know our combo for IGVG? Anyone?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't ran orb. I'm redoing myself because I've been running blade for too long.
Okay. Does anybody else know the actual like
Can I
combo?
say something?
What was that?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So someone earlier said that having eye showers on your IG was a wasted perk because cooldown reduction wasn't a huge difference from having it on your IG and your armor. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry.
A
So you're there.
wasted perk.
It's not.
It's
Are they
not
saying it's a wasted perk on the void on the ice gauntlet?
Yeah.
It's a 1 second difference whether it's on armor or on the
Oh,
gauntlet.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
wasted. It's just it's a waste in terms of what you could have on your gauntlet instead. It should still be in the kit, just not necessarily on the gauntlet. However, is there anything better?
I would only say, especially like how I said before, like the TTK, like in today's game, like like the updated version, you know, like the meta currently, healing tomb would be the only thing that I would use with that, right? Healing tomb would be the only thing that I would replace deadly. What's it called? Deadly shower.
Deadly Frost, yeah.
Yeah. I would only switch Deadly Frost out on my Ice Gauntlet for fucking Healing Tomb. That is the only thing I would do it. I would never use Unending Thaw on it because that's fucking dumb, right? Our entire job isn't to do damage. Our entire job is literally to debuff point, and the fact that you're running Mag Gauntlets, you're only losing 25% of your damage. You're not doing shit, right? And you're also in heavy, so you're also not doing shit. So you're not doing damage. That's not your job unless you're a fucking Void Blade. But obviously that's not this case. If you're a Void Blade, then I would suggest running fucking Unending Thaw on your fucking Ice Gauntlet. But and as a normal IGVG, I would run a Healing Tomb if that's the case. If you want that extra mid-maxing uptime for your deadly what's it called, your shower, then I'd put the Deadly Frost on your fucking Ice Gauntlet. The reason why a lot of us still run it on our Ice Gauntlet regardless is because most of us don't get into a situation where we have to have Healing Tomb. Okay, that's like the only thing that I can think of, because I don't run a Healing Tomb on any of my gear or any of my fucking IGVG sets, and I barely die in wars. So, good question. Big orb, right? So there's gonna be two different. Actually, there's gonna be like three different fucking combos that you have. All right, so the first combo is gonna be a normal combo that you have if you're just debuffing the point. Okay, if you're just willy-nilly debuffing the point. Like, you can turn around right now and just debuff a shit ton of people if you wanted to. Your very first combo that you're going to learn is the Oblivion into a Scream into an Orb, okay? That is the very first things that you need to learn. It's Oblivion, Scream into an Orb. That is your most mid-maxed ability or way to get your abilities back when you have a fuck ton of these guys together. Because if you do it correctly, you can actually rotate your abilities like 3 or 4 times before these guys all die. Okay? Because the Mag Gauntlets are still broken. I don't know if they're as broken as they used to be because of the whole fucking thorny shit that people are running nowadays. And I barely can get it off as much as often as I would want to. I'm still trying to find a clip of when I've done it so I can actually show it whenever I do explain this in BOD reviews. But basically, your Oblivion's going to come down, and it's going to help assist you along with your bruisers, right? And buff them up, and also debuff the enemies to strip their armor and or their buffs and everything, obviously. And then you're Screaming, right? When you open up with the Oblivion into the Scream will crit people and automatically give your abilities back for your nullifying Oblivion, right? Like, just immediately. And then after the Scream, you go into the Orb, which is your bread and butter to get your abilities back with crit, right? So you go into the Orb and you do exactly what you just did here, right? You just threw your Orb in perfectly, all those crit, and you just got all of your abilities back correctly, right? Except for in this case, you opened up with Orb instead of using your abilities, right? So if you used your abilities then orbed exactly like this, you would have gotten your abilities back like literally in a second. Not even like I'm not even fucking with you. Like probably with the amount of crit that you just hit, you probably would have gotten it instantaneously, and then you would have been able to do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, and do it again. There's a that is your mid max combo that you need to do. Okay. Yeah. So just again, it's Oblivion into Scream into Orb. Now, there is the other combo. There's another combo where a lot of people will use, and it's Scream into Oblivion into an Orb. Okay. The reason why people will open up with Scream is because Scream is technically your guys' most important ability that you need to be able to hit people with, right? So you need to catch people. So if you're trying to catch a great amount of people that you might know that will declump, or like you might not be able to catch them before you drop your Oblivion Orb, you need to be able to determine it yourself. You Scream into the Oblivion Orb, and then you do your Orb. Or not Oblivion Orb, Oblivion. Nullifying Oblivion. Yeah, into an Orb. So you're Screaming into your Nullifying Oblivion, and then you're doing your Orb if you're trying to catch people screaming, by like screaming them, because that technically is your most important ability. So those are the two different ones, right? So if you're just willy-nilly trying to do debuff or catch as many people as you can do your Obliv first into your Scream, and then Orb to get all of your abilities back. But then most of the time, if not any, like literally all the time, I think I see a lot of IGVGs will just start off with Scream into an Oblivion, and then Diminishing Orb. And then once you have your vines up, right? That's when the combo turns into Oblivion Orb first, into a Vines Scream, and then Orb. And the reason why is because you always want to use your Oblivion Orbs before you Vines to strip off a lot of their debuffs, so you can hold them there longer and use Rend. And the Rend on it will work a lot longer and better. Yeah, you just stop dodging. Yep. That's you don't need to dodge there. You don't need to dodge there. If you need to, like if you feel like you need to dodge, just literally jump. That's all you do. Jump is basically our dodge, right? You dodge whenever you see either somebody's about to, what's it called, shockwave you or stun lock you, and you can dodge. But even when you do dodge, because there's a lot of times where I'll dodge and I'll sometimes stun lock myself. But even if you do dodge, just wait a second or two before you can dodge again, and you won't stun lock yourself. So just pay attention to that, because as soon as I'm telling you right now, if you're on point and you dodge and you stand lock yourself, all these bruisers are going to call you out. Do you know what quad you are in this?
Top left.
Top left. Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah. So no need to like. The thought
Yep.
process for IGVGs is yes, we are made to step point and survive, right? That's our like whole thing, because we're heavy. But just think in your head that you're the last priority for a healer. So if there's no point tick at this point, then you could be playing either into their road down here. You could be playing inside of the area that's not being touched. But your biggest thing that I don't want to see is you literally in the middle of the crash. Okay, like I don't want to see you in the middle of Zergs like this. The reason why is because one, you can just easily get crashed on, and then you get screwed, right? Because if these guys decided to crash you, you're done for. The thing, like I said before, is our entire job is to block exits. So if we're zerging like this, the thought process would be like, oh yeah, we're just following the zerg. You're actually trying to get in front of the zerg, and you're trying to wall off and block the guys from zerg, like leaving the zerg, if that makes sense, the enemies. Okay. So the same concept would be in group 8 or in any other quad, right? If you're playing with your bruisers, you're not there to debuff with your bruisers in the same direction. You're supposed to be behind the whoever we're attacking and trying to block their exits off and debuff them from there. Okay. So you'll see a lot of like I'll probably show a VOD here after we get done like talking about like a lot of the extra stuff, where I'm like basically running in front of all these guys, and then I get behind them to wall them while the rest of my bruisers come in, right? And then this just makes it so that I block the exit, and now these guys have to either go around my wall or they have to go through my wall, and then they just die because my bruisers are there. So like that's the concept. So if we're zerging, you're not in the zerg, you're trying to run past the zerg so that you can wall it off. And then walling it off just randomly, if you guys don't have a crash or anything, looks like this, right? Because this helps prevent them from zerging. It looks like a little pie on this. And then whenever you are crashing, you're trying to hit the crust area or the inner side of it, right? The biggest thing is that if you see or hear the crash on your side, for example, top left, if you're top left, right? And you hear a top left crash, our primary responsibility is to wall off that outer, okay? This top left part, right? Because if you don't wall this off, nobody will. And then they all get out for free, okay? The backside of crashes are probably the most neglected because either that quad gets pushed out and they're off, right? So like instead of all these blue, let's say these are all red, you're pushed out here and you don't pay enough attention or you don't have your abilities up or something like that. Usually the back end of the crash isn't being walled off in almost every circumstance. So just make sure you're walling off the backside. If I'm going too deep into this, you guys need to let me know because I don't know how like.
No, I think we have a lot of newer people, especially are going to rewatch this back, and then I haven't actually been properly VOD reviewed in like 7 months. So hit me.
Okay. Oh, so it's up to you. I'm gonna throw this shit at you, but you just grasp as much as you can so you can talk to your other IGVGs about it.
Yeah.
But I'm basically telling you everything that min maxes, right? So, and I'm also talking about like other tier wars. So if you want to just tell them like, hey, like you literally just block exits off, like that's fine. But there's a lot of other extra shit a part of it, right? Like right now, your positioning is to literally not only debuff and stuff, but pay attention to like what's happening around you. So the second I see people coming in like this, I'm already gonna know this is gonna be a crash or half crash or whatever the fuck this is, and I don't want to be in it, right? Even if it was our own crash, I don't want to be in the middle of it. Okay, I want to try to at least jump out of this and then debuff whatever's happening, or wall off whatever's happening, right? So then I'm there, I'm jumping out, repositioning. A lot of my showers when I'm playing top left will be looking like this, right? A lot of my downtime showers, and by downtime showers, I mean showers that aren't used on crashes. All of them will happen here, right? Most of the time. And the reason why is because this helps my bruisers so that if they need to back up into my shower, they can self-peel for themselves. And then at the same time, this prevents the enemies from pushing up to top of point, which is what literally every war or every army wants to do after they do a crash. They're trying to push up to the top side of point to allow their healers to step, obviously. So this is fine. Just see how your storm isn't up.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you just consistently do the ice shower, like frosted area stuff over and over again, you would consistently have these up a lot more often. Like every single time that you shower, just imagine you always have your storm up, and that's basically what it is. Compared to you just showered and now you're waiting another extra like 4 or 5 seconds for your storm. Hop. In this situation, I'd probably shower first compared to using your storm.
I do believe I've always been back when I was 100% doing this all the time, that it was to hold shower. So it would be something that we're all learned to shower first and walk through. I've always been taught to hold shower.
Everybody will tell you that. Everyone will say that, right? I'm telling you right now, though, you'll have something up for a crash every single time, okay? Even if your shower's not up for a crash, you can still debuff it using your IGVG or your vines, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody will always say to hold it for showers, but now you're losing out on a lot, especially in higher tier wars or like in harder wars, I would say, where you're not, like, we don't have showers controlling zergs, or we don't have showers being able to dog, like, players off with bruisers. So you holding on to this, like, unironically just screws everybody over, right?
Oh, yeah, I see
so
it.
Imagine every single IGVG in your army just holding on to this only for crashes. You're basically like, we don't have any showers now, so like we're not really helping out the army as much as we want to. We want to try to min max it as much as possible, which is part of the reason why you would use this on repeat, right? Unless you hear something or you know in your head that a crash is about to happen. Okay, once you play the game enough, and I'm sure you have, right? And Nova can attest to this, right? You'll kind of know when crashes are about to happen to where you can just hold on to your abilities, Okay. So like in my head right now, if I know that respawns are about to happen soon, I'll probably make sure I auto with my ice gauntlet if I don't have my abilities up and just hold on to my shower, right? Because most of the time, if not all the time, the shot caller will usually call crashes in within 10 to 15 seconds of a respawn call, so that they can get people on the longest respawn, right? And that includes defense. The same concept would happen if I'm spread out and I see a bunch of bruisers walking or zerging up on point, or a lot of people playing tighter to point, the reds. Then I'll start noticing, okay, maybe they're going to go for a crash soon. They have to go for a crash soon, you know, then I'll also hold my abilities for that too. But if you're just randomly doing shit and stuff like that, if you're just not using your ice shower, it's kind of screwing the entire army. And we'll go over like an example of it too. Because even if you don't have shower up for a crash, you still have all of your IGVG abilities up, right? You will have one. I promise you, you will have something. And if you don't have something before a crash happens, you need to start autoing more. Another thing. Wait, whoops. Let's wait for another crash and then I'll explain it further.
Play up on the road. Play up on the road. Play up on the road. We can kill this. We can kill this. Play up with me. Play up with me. Mystic. Yep. Gilbert. They're fine. They're vines. Coco titties. Yep. You got beat. We're just angry. Back to point. Coming back to us.
Okay.
Okay, now we're looking a little heavy on B.
We're coming back. Everyone's coming back. All right, we're gonna get ready. Send on B. Send on B. Crash top left. We're gonna get ready. Crash top left here.
I'm shooting.
3, top left 2, top left point now. Top left.
Grabbing, stunning.
Yeah, so you're top left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you should be trying.
I should
to
be
look-
up there.
Yeah, right here. Yeah. So as soon as you hear top left, you're positioning yourself in that area.
And I usually could have
Because
done it
you're-
because I could have wrapped there. Okay.
Yeah, your entire thought process should be to legitimately try to get around here. Like, right? Hold on, I'm getting spam pinged right now. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
You're fine.
Okay. Oh yeah, so we want to be up there on the inner part of it, right where your position is, and that goes for anybody else in any other position, right? So you're trying to do this side. If you're bottom left quad and you're an IGVG, then this is your priority. If you're bottom right, then this is your priority, and if you're top right, this is your priority. Another thing is that most of the time, or not wanting to say most of the time, but some of the time, you won't be in position to be able to shower your prospective area, right? If you're not able to do that, just get to the crash as fast as possible, okay? Or as much as you as not like I give you as not as fast as possible, but like try to get to your crash, right? And whatever prospective area, or at least the path of least resistance. Because the issue would be like a lot of reds being here and you're like stuck here. If you're not able to make it to the crash top left, right? Then the biggest thing for you would be to literally slow down all these reds, okay? So the same concept would be, let's say this is all your guys' crash on a bunch of reds, but then let's say there's a bunch of reds here, right? Just off willy-nilly, like over here, like multiple of them, right? Boo, 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 my terrible stick figures, right? And their thought process is, okay, blue just crashed top left, I'm going to re-crash this, right? Well, you're this guy here, right? Mr. Blue guy with the IGVG, and you have vines up, Your thought process should be, I'm gonna make sure, even though I can't make it to the crash, I'm gonna make sure these guys don't make it to the crash. So I'm going to plague scream them all, and I'm gonna vines after Oblivion, and I'm just gonna try to hold them there as long as possible so that they don't make it to this crash and my guys can get out. Okay. So, regardless of what's happening, you shouldn't not be doing nothing, right? During a crash, you should always be trying to do something. Unless you absolutely don't have anything, then just don't get to the crash because you're just gonna kill yourself. But you should be doing something.
Grabbing,
Right.
stunning.
Knock it out, knock it out, knock it out, knock it out. Kill it, kill it. Yep.
Yeah,
This
I
is
gotta
good.
go.
Same concept with
Someone
like
record.
Yeah, I'm
for me?
recording it. I got you.
I think
something
No problem.
similar. No problem. Something similar would be like your body, right? If you're like high health and this is about to happen, you can technically just body block these guys in, and then a lot of the time too, instead of like dodging, right? You can literally pull your ice gauntlet out and just hold block on a lot of like bruisers and shit, and they won't do anything to you. It's very like it's a skill that not a lot of people at IGVG do very often, but you can do it very like you start learning how to block instead of fucking like dodging or trying to like jump if you can't, if you block and body block people in, you're holding people more often inside the crashes. It's just a lot better. I don't know.
Sorry. Top left is the top. We can just hit it. We can just hit it.
This is good.
We're better.
Now you have vines, right? So your thought process would be to obliv, and then vines in your obliv.
I'm grabbing.
If there's a crash happening, right?
On me. I finds it.
That's huge.
I screamed.
I didn't stream. I switched too fast.
It's all good. And then another thing too, with your scream, you're already kind of doing it right now. I don't know if you do know this. Do you know about the angle for scream?
You're supposed to look down, right? Or
Yeah. So
yeah.
you look down at like their knee heights,
Yep.
right? Like their knee, because a scream comes out like a triangle like this, and the further down you look, the like
The bigger the
more
triangle.
it
Yeah.
comes out. But the biggest issue is if you look straight down at the ground, you're screaming into the ground, right? So
Yep.
you kind of want to be at that like happy medium with that 45-degree angle. And then the same concept too with orb, right? If you didn't know. So let's say I have orb up, right? I'm gonna shoot my orb into what I think is the biggest clump, and then I'm going to angle my camera up so I can blow my fucking orb on the biggest clump I can see, right? So a lot of people will be like, well, I don't know when to blow the orb because I'll shoot it into a clump and then I'll just randomly blow it up. And that's how you get all those IGVGs with like a shit ton of numbers of healing, because they don't blow their orb up and to get their abilities back quick enough, right? So you want to try to shoot it over to the biggest clump. You don't have to, it doesn't even have to be in front of you, right? As a group 8 IGVG, and I would say that I'm probably one of the more experienced IGVGs for group 8. That's a normal IGVG, not a fucking void blade. But the reason why is because if I'm playing here and this is 8 lane, just for example, let's pretend this is on the right side. I will do my abilities and everything for IGVG. I would walk behind these guys and do my abilities, and then I'll shoot my orb into the clump on point, get my abilities back, and then still stay here and still do my abilities, right? So I don't have to use my orb on like 1 or 2 people in kill squad. I'm just doing it on the point, and then I'm getting all my abilities back fast as fuck to just keep doing it over and over again, right? So I'm like stealing the crit off of point, basically. What was that?
No, that's smart. That's smart as fuck.
Yeah. So I'll do that. The same concept with your, like, if you're off point or any way, shape, or form, you're just basically angling your camera up for a second to look to see what the biggest clump is. And then obviously you want to straighten up your camera to shoot your orb out, because your orb goes out in the direction your camera shoots, right? And then you literally re-angle your camera and then you blow it up on the clump, because you'll see the orb when you do it.
Yeah, send it. Let's kill it.
So like example would be like right here, right? I would have shot it like right there in the middle of this.
Two in the clump.
Yeah.
We're staying. Trying to get.
This is good, right? But then the thought process is
I didn't
behind
up
them,
more.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, like it may, like in my thought, like in a lot of people's thought process is like, of course I want to step on point and live and stuff, but IGVGs, like honestly, like all of your IGVGs should have been here, right? Like if 3 of your IGVGs came behind here and just walled us off and he called a crash, they would all be fucked. Like that's like the big basic understanding of an IGVG is literally I want to know where their exit's going to be or where they're going to run to if we're about to crash, and that's where I want to try to block them at.
Top left down. Top left down. Top left down. Kill.
I mean, these guys don't even get out, so
No,
I don't know.
Yeah.
They definitely should have. But it would have been way better. Like if all three of you guys like probably like showered the outside here, they all would have been dead.
And I definitely have some bad habits because I am just, like I said, switching back to Orb. I've been running Blade since I came back on LNAF just because I could. And I was like, I need to get back on the Orb train. But I get myself into the clump too much. But
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Void Blade in general. I'm just not a fan of it. I don't know why. I don't even like it in Group 8, even though it's only supposed to be played in Group 8. But I'm just not a fan of Void Blade. I think it's troll. You might as well just put another fucking disruptor in that group and not a Void VG. Because that's basically what a Void Blade is a VG. The one reason why I don't like Void Blade is, one, your whole job once you win your lane or your quad is to go into their road and just hit healers, right? That's your only job. But if you're in really good wars, or if anybody who knows how to counter you, they'll just perma send their 2 quad DPS from whichever side and just kill you on repeat. Rug, he's been in a war where we were fighting against him with Pharma, and literally we just killed him 12 times in a row, and it was unplayable for him. Right? If people know how to counter it, or know how to kill you, or not how to kill you, but like basically know what to do, you're perma dead, right? The second that we say, hey, this person's in our backline hitting the healers, 2 of our quad DPS go over, especially a spear, the guy's dead every single time.
yeah, that's what happened as soon as I came to this one. I would go to their backline to hit healers after we won a quad or something, and I would just instantly get farmed. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So it's like they if somebody identifies it and just knows, there's a lot of wars where you can try to get away with it, right? Like you can get away with just going into their backline and just killing them. But if they're ignoring you, they're bad. I mean, that's just it's just personal. But I'm not a fan of Void Blade. Yeah, again, just stop dodging and then just jump more. I still dodge too, so it's not that big of a deal. Just don't stand block yourself. Like right there, you could have hopped out,
Yeah.
and you would have had full stamina. That was a really good shower. It's just pay attention to your That's good. So even in this situation, right, I would still storm, or I would still shower first, and then I would walk in and storm.
Okay.
I don't know what it is about my brain. I think it's because I got yelled at by Clay Trinity and Shane W way too much from Supple. But you literally will just shower here, and then you walk into it, and then you storm. That's like literally all my brain is now wired to do that every single time I shower. Even if I can't, like I feel unsafe of standing in that shower, like pretend this is the shower, right? Even if I feel unsafe to step into this, I will still walk out and then walk back in. I will find a way to get back into that shower before it goes away to try to get my storm down. If I don't, I feel like I just wasted so much of my cooldown. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't know why. It's just weird, but try to keep that in the back of your head, because it will just help, 1, pump numbers, and 2, you're just spreading AIDS consistently. This is fine. Like you're on point, which is good. But then again, you don't have to be on point, right? Like 1, the point's not ticking. 2, your bruisers are here, and 3, you're just victimizing yourself, kind of just standing here. You can literally just wrap around and start debuffing and showering from the outside here. This will help your bruisers dog down this direction, and your showers and your screams and your oblivions will help assist them from dogging those players off the point. You know what I mean?
Nope.
So if I'm playing top left quad, I'm most likely either in their road, like right here, where most of them don't even look at me, or I'm playing midline. And then sometimes if I feel like my side's losing really hard, I'll usually play bot right or bot left as a top quad, just because that's not my job to be up here, right? My job is to be down here to make sure I can debuff. And then if a crash is about to happen on my side, then I'm just going to wrap around it. You know what I mean? Oops. Oh, that's huge. Hold on.
Okay, we're gonna crash here. We're gonna get a red crash in 3 on left side. Top left in 2. Crash top left now.
Is this your normal shot caller?
Fresh is taking over most times. Yeah, I used to shot call. Fresh.
Fresh. I don't know who Fresh is. Nova, do I know who Fresh is?
No.
Okay. I can also VOD review your shot caller.
gonna say I want to do it because, like I said, I shot calls from time to time as well, and I would definitely like to know
Yeah,
more.
I-
So
I think you guys both just kind of trade so you don't burn out.
yeah,
Yeah, I can do like a shot calling thing. I'm not the best shot caller, but I do know how to teach
Don't
it.
let him lie to you.
I do know how to I do know how to
Don't
teach
let
it,
him lie to
right?
you. That
Because the
was the one that
second
taught me, by the way. So don't let him lie
second
to
New
you.
World League season pick of season 2, Insanity, was taught by me. So
god damn.
I will say, just don't let him lie to you. So
I'm not the best. I'm not gonna say I'm the best, but I can help with shot calling.
at least he's saying he's not the best. He was saying he's a shit shot. He's a shit caller. So
Okay, so like
No
imagine,
Oblivion. Yeah.
yeah, like imagine you dropped your Oblivion here. So you drop your Oblivion. One, you're buffing up literally everybody here and debuffing all these guys, and then you scream into your orb, and you literally just have your abilities to just do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again. Literally, just keep doing it over and over again because you just screamed like 4 or 5 of them. I think actually you have to catch 5+ in your scream to be able to do it over and over again, but it's still really good. Like right there.
Um,
And then when you orb, back up, back pedal. Okay. Because one that like orb is an animation, it'll animation lock you, and if you just have to like you can back up and do it at the same time. When you push forward like this, you're kind of getting stuck in the crash, and like how I said before, this is really bad for us, right? We don't want to be in the middle of the crash, especially if these guys were deadoing, right? You could be kind of screwed. But if you're on the outside, you shower and then you use orb. Orb is always going to be your last ability used, and you're always going to back up after you orb, or like while you're orbing. While you're in the mid orbing, you're backing up at the same time. This will help make it so that you don't die very often.
Good job, good job, good job, good job.
Yeah, again, like some of these showers are really good if your thought process is to try to get behind them and shower, right? But showering like this from flag or anything like that is really, really good. Trying to get around to shower like this is really good. And then just trying to rotate your body around this. Now, if like somebody's like dogging like a player down, yeah, I wouldn't mind you walking up and just showering like this. To just be like, hey, shower on this guy, shower on this guy. But just make sure that you're communicating with your group. I am a very vocal IGVG in a lot of my like VODs or like who I play with. I don't give a shit if my bruisers don't calm. If it's just me communicating, I will be the only one communicating. I don't give a shit what it is. And I'm communicating everything. I'm communicating my shower. I'm communicating my orb, my screen, like my nullifying Oblivion, so my bruisers can know where to play at, right? Like if they need the Oblivion, I'm asking where my healer's playing from, so I can know that I need to play near my healer. So if my healer's playing bot left, I'm not going to go top right of point, right? I'm going to play bot left of point or mid left of point. If I need a heal, I'm going to walk backwards, right? So I'm always asking where my healer's playing. I'm also asking if my healer needs like a peel or anything like that, or if they're okay. I'm double checking to make sure that my bruisers are good. I need to make sure that they're dogging somebody. So if they're not communicating with each other, so like if Nova and fucking Joe Schmo aren't dogging a single player at the same time, I will just follow Nova around and just make sure I'm debuffing whatever he's hitting, right? And let Joe Schmo be whatever the fuck he's doing. But I'm going to call out everything I'm doing essentially, and then I'm also calling out what I'm playing. And then the biggest, most important thing you need to call out is your fucking tomb. Okay. You will always calm your tomb out. I know that a lot of people probably already know that, but you always calm your tomb out specifically so that your healer doesn't waste a DE on you and you eat the heals. If you eat the heals on a healer, and especially if it's like a higher tier ward, they'll get pissed at you. They'll actually get mad. I've gotten yelled at multiple times for not calming my tomb. Like especially when Sammy's like healing me, she'll fucking flip shit on me.
That one's been beaten into me. Yeah, calm my tomb. Yeah. And I'll apologize immediately if I don't. The tomb, yeah. Like, I'm like, oh shit, my bad.
Like I eat the tomb sometimes. I'll eat the DE in the tomb sometimes, and I'm like, oh fuck, my bad. And they get pissed because like that's literally just their cooldown, so they can't heal their bruisers.
Keep working your quads out. Back plane loose, working your quads, focusing your targets together. You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. This area here, like you could eat damage, right? Like you could walk up here. You could walk past these guys. If they start looking at you, this just allows literally all of your blues to walk up. And then you're still doing your job by blocking them off. So you can eat some damage walking past these guys. Now when you're low, that's when you're doing the whole hopping out of shit, entombing and trying to get out of it, cleansing and all that other shit. We cleanse defensively, right? We cleanse defensively, and then we also cleanse during crashes as much as we possibly can. If you don't have a cleanse up for a crash, obviously don't worry too much about it. because your job isn't to be in the middle of the crash, right? If this is a really big crash about to happen, you're not supposed to be in the middle of it. You're supposed to be on the outside of it. Once you guys get like in more wars and stuff like that, you'll start seeing the perimeter of like where deados are, and you'll notice when to not be in like that area. So like right now, if they decided to deado, your probably closest would probably be where Silly is, right? Before not getting fully impacted by that like deado crash, right? And then
Gotcha.
you can shower there. That's like the biggest thing too, is that everybody in IGVG and like who don't know it very well will think I have to be in the clump and I have to shower literally right on top of them. You don't have to do that. You literally can shower them from a distance like this, and this literally locks in the entire area.
They're crashing that
Yeah,
top of
look
plate.
at
They're
it, look
crashing.
at it,
They're
look
crashing
at it.
top of
Oh,
plate.
look at it. Send.
Yeah, again,
Send.
scream into orb
I know he's not saying send.
or scream obliv into orb.
Send.
I don't care if you scream obliv into orb or obliv scream into orb, but you always want to use your orb last. That's like the biggest thing.
I'm binding mystics.
And then again, you're just trying to look for a big clump whenever you have it. So even if they're not clumped up, right? Like you don't see a really good clump up here for orb, you can also hold on to it if you really want to, and just wait for them to clump up to orb it.
You guys are spread out really far. Come back.
Yeah, back. Good. Yeah, look, plot point. Kill it. Nice.
Not extremely needed, but do you guys go to fort face in this?
No, we hold him 2 points here the whole time.
It's fine.
Oh, yeah, I pulled
They're
this one like I
pretty
said because my old VODs are all Void Blade and it's not gonna.
There is. Hold on. Let me look for it really quick. I will send this to you. I did a builder guide
Hey guys.
with tenacity one time,
Oh,
and I'm very well known for building. That's like my entire like persona in like New World. Like I got really
I built
famous
the
for it.
builder.
Yeah, I got really famous for it like a really long time ago when I was fighting against like maximum effort as alternates. There was a company that fought us consistently, and they finally disbanded after I brought up every single gate in the war, in the middle of the war. Every single gate was up, including B. I got B up within the last minute, and they disbanded immediately after that. So a lot of people will know me as a builder because I usually get gates up, and this is going to show you the in-depth like how I do it, and then like my thought process on how to do it. So I can send this to you. I'm not going to sit here and watch this, or I'm not going to sit here and explain it. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
you're good. Yeah.
Really, yeah, it goes through like everything. It goes through like how many repair parts you need. You'll watch a whole VOD of me doing it too. So let me send that to you.
Not the prop of Pebble building a gate on somebody. Yikes.
Where? That's not the propa.
Would it be
Was
up?
it-
What side?
Or was it you holding the gate? Is it you holding the gate? And
Yeah,
Shintaro
that's my video. Yeah, this one.
Mm,
But you guys
Is
can
it
watch
this
that on
one?
your own time.
that's crazy. Hi, Fresh.
Okay. But yeah, that was basically like the basics of like everything, right? You don't want to die. You don't want to be in the middle of clumps. Like you already have it all through. You recorded this, right? I'm assuming. And then,
Yep.
if you can just write notes about it and then put it into one of your guys' like IGVG chats. And notes by meaning like what a lot of like shit that you need to do. So like I think I have notes still. This is old notes though, so I would have to update these. Yeah, so combo, scream, obliv, orb, get behind X's for crashes, vines, obliv, scream. Scream vines does not stagger and cause a roll. So you screaming and vinesing somebody will not cause a roll, okay? Like a lot of people know of. Storm doesn't matter off of point, just storm, ice wall for CD. It does matter for the healers, right? This is really, really old. Oblivious sacred. So if you guys see a sacred somewhere, which is most of the time going to be in your quad, you're trying to the oblivion that area. The biggest thing for that is that I just want to see people oblivion off point like this, just randomly, unless you're group 8, because your group 8's doing it for the distros, but you're supposed to be on point doing it for your bruisers, right? Whoops. Land scream first because it's high value ability. We talked about that, except for obviously if it's not like you don't need to, or you just feel like it's not necessary to run or scream first, then Oblivion Scream to Orb is actually your mid-max ability. which I think it says here. Yeah, best mid max when you're not being pressured to obliv first into a scream to get your obliv back from scream crits along with your orb crits. This can mess up your combo rotation, but it's the mid max way to get your to literally get your that huge combo ability that I was talking about before, right? So think of VG as quality, or yeah, quantity to just pump out abilities, and then IG for quality, right? So your VG quantity means like just randomly just doing it as many people as you can, right? Like we talked about this before, spreading aids as much as you possibly can. Whereas Ice Gauntlet is used for quality, where your quality showers, your showers that actually are doing something, you know. Those are that's where the concept of that is meaning. Let me think of the other stuff. Goal for IGVG is to create a box and crashes to block off X's for bruisers. They're panicking out of the crash. That's exactly, we talked about that. Obliv Vines to help strip off buffs, i.e. Flail Vortex Cleanse, which gives them freedom. So I'm just like explaining in those notes like what Oblivion does to help you. Attempt to try to optimize your abilities for crashes because you only have so much time before it's no longer safe to approach. So Cleanse, Shower, Obliv, Vines, take a step back, right? So in the higher tiers, basically what that's saying is that in your head, if you have every single ability up for a crash, you have a lot of like it's going to take you a lot of time to try to do it all, right? So what it's saying is that just understand when you approach what to do at that moment. So pre-think in your head, right? So I'm in this crash, I have vines up with all my VG abilities, right? And I don't have any of my ice gauntlet abilities. So my thought process is I'm going to obliv into a vines scream and then back up into an orb, right? Because I only have so much time to do that. Let's say I only have my ice gauntlet abilities and no VG abilities, right? So then that's going to come into me showering first, maybe walking into the side of it, storming, and then walking back out, right? This is very simple, normal combo for Ice Gauntlet. And then if you don't have any of your abilities up, you need to switch to one of them and start autoing, okay? And then there's some people who, I don't know if people actually do it anymore, but when aim lock used to happen, we would just aim lock into the clumps and we would just auto until we get our abilities back. But you really shouldn't be autoing very often. Another thing too, just to min-max, your VG, they did something to the VG for some reason. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you, but if you heavy hit now, it like goes through people or like does like this like it does like this weird thing where it just damages people more. I don't know what it is. It just like does like more ticks for some reason, and that shit gets your fucking vines back so fucking fast for some reason. So if you ever have the time to be able to heavy hit with your VG, then heavy hit with your VG. And I mean, I don't try to learn how to half fucking hit with the VG. It's like nearly impossible. Just literally sit there and slow heavy hit people, and you'll see your vines like shooting up like immediately. Yeah, angle screen, we talked about that, and then I mean at some point we can talk about what's it called, group 8, but group 8's very similar to what we're talking about. The only difference is you're literally just running around in a loop. That's it. Like in a loop, like back and forth. Boom, you're doing this, like back and forth in your zone, back and forth like this, and then whenever you're in group 8, you're looking in whenever you guys have space and you guys won your lane. Oops. I don't know if there's a good VOD that we can watch real quick. It's a really bad one. I think this is a really bad one.
Always expect sometimes I have expected.
Oh, this is old. This is like 2 months old. Hold on. Let's find a more updated one. Because you guys aren't going to be able to see the pot usage crap. Bruiser.
Bruiser.
Not a bruiser.
Group 8. This is one we lost. Maybe this is a good one. I think I die a lot actually. Oh, this is me buying repair parts too. Yeah, whenever somebody sees me in an army, they usually, like, the roster makers will make it so that I fucking repair. I don't know why. Okay, so let's do off the rip, right? I'm doing the shower and I'm walking into it. That's like, see?
Yeah.
And then I just have my abilities are gonna come like super quick just by doing that compared to like 14 seconds or whatever it normally is. Let's see. Ooh, is this gonna be too much? Oh, that's fancy. Hold on, let's do this one.
That's fancy.
That's fancy.
Okay, I'm bot right quad here, I believe.
Okay.
So I do dodge a lot. Just try not to stand lock yourself, right? So you can dodge, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna stand lock myself a few times here. The only thing that annoys me is if you stand lock yourself like consistently for like the next 10 minutes, right? I'm pretty sure there was a company I was VOD reviewing for, and the guy showed me a VOD. In the first 2 minutes, he stand blocked himself like 5 times. So I was like, please don't waste my time. I was like, just work on your stand block. Okay, that's it. Just don't stand block yourself, and then we'll work on something else after. That was a really bad obliv, right? I probably should have done it in the point. And then I'm also, again, right? Every single time I shower, I'm always going to try to use my storm in it. That was really bad, actually. So I got stuck outside. So I just fucked up my combo. Yeah, so right now, I'm just autoing, and I'm heavy heading. So you just kind of notice where I'm not kind of just, I'm not like in the point like too long, right? I'm kind of just going in and using my abilities or where I need it, where I'm needed, and then I'll walk back out, and then I'll do it again and walk back out, right? So like I'm matching tick. If I really wanted to try to match tick or hold tick, I would try to probably step into corners. But I'm not. My job isn't supposed to be on point like this and just like staying on point the entire time. That's not my job. Oh, I think I remember this one. This is the fucking war where we got farmed by COI. This is gonna be bad because my right side quad, like my right side inner, like if your right side, like if you're a strong side, like this side right here, and your inner gets fucked on C, you guys perma lose because these guys are just spear you up the ass the entire time. So. So you notice like all these kill squad guys are just trying to kill me the whole time. I'm just trying to stay alive. And then I don't, maybe? Okay. I don't know how I lived.
Built diff.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, another thing that I didn't talk about before. You can hear Apple's about to call a crash, right? We're mid right in 3, mid right in 2. Like before the crash happens, I'm trying to get in the middle of it to obliv into my vines, and then I'm gonna get the fuck out of it as fast as I can because I just set up my army to do a crash, right? The problem is that if I stay in or if I don't do it at the proper time, like let's say he calls mid right now and I'm already going into it, I should not go in the middle of it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But if it's like a second beforehand, I can slip my way in, do my abilities that I need to lock this down, and then I can get the fuck back out. And then I can turn around and do like a store or a shower or something. But you can watch it. Yeah, so I just do the vines, try to lock them down. It would have been better if there was more reds there. I don't know why Apple's called it there, but it's not a big deal. And we just lost, right? Because Apple's called it on nothing. Right? So like he called us to call this crash, and then what was there? I mean, Vimu, who lives somehow because he's a fucking goated tank. And then all these people just crash on us. So I'm playing bot right quad essentially, right? But bot right quad's kind of fucked. I'm not gonna victimize myself here by allowing these kill squads to run into the back line behind me, and then these group sevens kill me. And I feel like it's a lot safer playing here, right?
Hmm.
So I'm just gonna play up here in this position. So it doesn't really matter whatever quad side you are. Doesn't matter if you play top side or bot side, as long as you're playing on your respective side, so that you can wall off that position. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, so obviously not every single time I will have it optimized to be able to do this, right? But I still do it as much as I can. Try to do the CDR for your ice shower. Yeah, so like the biggest thing is I'm just trying not to stay in be in the middle of all this. Like you can see me just on the outside. I'm de-ticking point by stepping on point, right? Like obviously here or here or like where I'm actually stepping. And then I'm debuffing from my side, from like here or here if I need to position myself during a crash. But we haven't called any bot right crashes.
Almost bad. VG bot, VG bot, I'm balling. Checking for them. I'm on top.
Yeah, so these wars look a little different than the ones that I VOD reviewed, right? Because like these guys, they kind of already know when to get out of crashes or when to get out of shit, right? So like these don't happen very often, but when they do happen, you'll watch them do it and then they get the fuck out. See how they immediately declumped? In more lower tier wars, a lot of them will just stay in, right? We'll just stay in there and just dog what we think is going to like stay in. But in those situations, right, like we call the crash. COI is a tier 1 army, right? Heist is not a tier 1 army. Heist is actually shit. I don't know why I'm playing. I actually left Heist not too long ago and rejoined the COI. But COI is a tier 1 company, and so you notice how they crash. I showered, and they still get out, right? Like they still get out before we can crash. But that's the whole thought process, right? Is like I want to be there to shower the crash. I'm just hopping everywhere. I shower, I walk into it, I use my storm, and then these guys are already out, so it doesn't matter. Again, right? These guys are walking this direction. I could have easily showered, but I already saw all my blues are here, so I went behind them to try to shower this way. As a repair guy, right? And like depending on like when they're resetting or when like B gets capped, I usually run in by myself and just do it if I haven't died in a while. Makes it so that we don't waste repair parts. The more important thing about IGVG's repairing is that you just want to try to grab them before or on the 19-minute mark. If you don't grab them before or on the 19-minute mark, you guys waste repair parts. Repair parts are getting eaten by the tent when you wait too long. Okay, so notice how I see a crash, right? And I'm like, fuck that shit, and I get the fuck out. Like that's literally everybody's mindset. Like everybody, as soon as you see something about to happen, you see a crash. Our job is not to be in the middle of this. Our job is to stay alive so that we can debuff it. I'm like, fuck that shit, and I hop. And then Apples is gonna send a crash. There you go. And then I showered immediately. I came out here and then I showered down here to just make sure that this crash was gonna be blocked off. Yeah, but Castle of Ice is just really good at spreading out before we're able to even crash them. I even called my entomb. Our inner is just screwed right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is just really rough for me to play because these spears just destroy me. Yeah, and then again, right, I repositioned myself to do a shower like this so that these guys don't like over zerg or try to zerg too much, or at least try to slow them down. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it still helps. It could also force somebody to cleanse, right? That's just a downed cleanse for them.
I have nothing right now.
Yeah, I couldn't get out of that.
Popping. I have nothing.
Yeah, I had like 3.3 seconds before I could entomb. Yeah, so notice how when I'm orbing and due to all my abilities, like I'm not up in this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
My final spot from viewing my combo is literally away from the crash. So you're trying to do your combo like this, right? Combo, combo, and then I'm backing up while I'm running my orb and then blowing it up.
I'm pushing top right. Shack mid right. Use bar push. Guest. Not worked.
And you can see me, I'm still like trying my best to heavy hit, right?
Sacred's top right. Popping.
I'm on top.
Yeah, so this is another thing, right? You can just see a whole clump right here, whether you be down here, whether you be where I'm positioning, right? Or if you're an IGVG on these sides, you're basically on the outskirts of like everything that's happening. You're basically on the outskirts of all the fighting that's happening. And that's just going to keep you alive like a lot more often than normal. The only times that IGVG should actually really just be dying, like anytime, is literally when you're on point and you don't pay attention and somebody crashes you, right? Like that one time where I like saw the crash and I got the fuck out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say I was on the point and I just wasn't paying attention and I got crashed on. That's just bad. Like I'm just not paying attention, right? I'm not paying attention to the point. And then so that's bad. And then two, bad positioning is also just really bad, right? So like if I reposition myself, let's say I'm going to position myself down here, but I decide to stay here, right? Instead of trying to use my abilities, that's really bad positioning. These guys are just going to dog me, right? Or I see a crash about to happen, or I feel like a crash is about to happen right here in the middle. I'm going to run into the middle of it. Like no, there's no thought process of having to do that, right? Like just bad positioning. Just stay alive.
How about the mining? Popping.
Yeah, and you just see me hopping everywhere, like just literally hopping as much as I possibly can. See like how an grav just caught me, and I was like, psych, my little bunny ass is gonna hop out of it. Yeah, that's what we want. And then I'm going back just like far enough to where the deados don't affect me, but my scream can still catch them. Right? I just caught some of those guys in that scream. But it's not going to do anything, right? Because it's not like
Yeah.
they're low health and stuff. But I'm still doing my job by spreading AIDS, which is what we want to do. And I'm just hopping again. Like honestly, if I was dodging and just not hopping as often as I was, I would have been dead like so many times by now. Oh shit! You can hear my music. Yeah, I've had this cough for like three months. I'm coughing in this VOD too.
Bro,
Oh,
you've been
damn.
coughing forever. Holy.
Yeah.
You mad?
Yeah, that's like.
You mad? You mad? You mad?
My favorite part was, is my healer down as I'm dying? And they're like, yep.
Yo. Yikes.
Oh, yep, I buy more. Blowing horns as IGVGs is very crucial, guys. Please do it. A lot of VOD reviewers, especially your governor, will thank you a lot, or your shot caller.
That goes for almost anybody though.
Okay, so this is me stat padding. Okay, so I wouldn't advise you guys to do this. I do it a lot, but basically if I can't make it to a crash and I don't get any value from being this far away, I will straight up just storm the point on crashes that are happening away from me, like I can't make it to them, just so that my assist numbers go up on the leaderboards. Now, is that wrong? I don't know.
I do the
but,
same thing, so I'm not going to say
I
anything.
mean, if everyone does it, is it wrong?
yeah, I mean, at least I'm truthful about it, right? Like, I don't care, but that's part of the reason why like I get my numbers to look good is because I will do that if I can't make it to a crash. But like, that's if I will literally only do that when I'm coming back from spawn. But if I'm like on the point, like right here or something like that, and I can't make it to the crash or I don't have abilities, I will scream whoever's close to me, or I'll try to shower whoever's close to me, so that these guys don't get to that crash. This isn't technically trolling because I'm not gonna make it to the crash or be on point to do anything at all. So I might as well just do something, right? That's the thought process.
Vimo, Vimo, Vimo. Guess who's bot? I'm at like bot.
Yeah, so this is rough, right? Because our inner is just completely fucked, and I'm about to get
Top right, top right.
yeah destroyed by just a shit ton of spears and fucking great axes, or spears, I mean. And I'm just trying my best to try to find some type of value because inner is just so bad. A lot of the time, what a VOD reviewer will tell you that if your area, like if you're like top or bot right or top right here, and your area is completely fucked, no matter what happens, you're just trying to get to your position to stay alive while matching point tick, right? The only important thing is that whenever a crash is happening, you're trying to get to your side of your perspective, like side, to shower it. That's it, right? So you could genuinely play like anywhere on the point, like anywhere that needs to be surviving, because that's how the bruisers play too. They'll just kind of play wherever they need to play. They won't stick to that one spot like the entire time, and then look to try to shower off the crash from your perspective position. That's bad. That was really bad of me. So, one, I wasn't paying attention, and two, I mean, COI is just a tier 1 company, right? They're just really good. Yeah. So we lose C off of that, I think. But I mean, Enter is just fucked, right? Our kill squads are dog shit. So, and then maybe. We go to 4 phase here. At gates, and this goes for attacking or defense. Right here on the sides of the gate is like your friend, right? So I can technically stand here and I can scream inwards like this and still catch a lot of people, and then I can back up and orb into this huge clump right here, and you'll see me doing the rotations. What a lot of people, and I'm sure that you probably got taught this, right? Is whenever they're pushing you shower, and that's the only time you shower. I just shower consistently, and I'll just keep showering consistently. Part of the reason is because if you're an anchor specifically, you shower just consistently. If you're the flex, then you can hold on to it and then shower whenever they push. But the consistent person who's going to stay here is because you're a builder most of the time, right? The anchor. And so I'm trying to use all of my abilities as much as possible to just slow these guys down. And then whenever they all get in, I'm not going to be on the point to use any of the abilities, so I might as well use them now and then wait till, because basically I'm going to be repairing, right?
Yep.
While everybody's on point. That's the whole thought process. That also goes with vines, right? So if they push in and I put my Oblivion down and then vines them, I'm going to do that, right? Because once they get the point, I'm not going to be on point to be able to use my vines. I'm going to be here repairing this gate. Yep. And then we just continue doing the rotations, and I still do the shower. I'm still doing the whole walking into my shower. Hopefully. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Oh, here.
We're gonna grab bot, right?
All right. In that video that I just sent to you, time,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is literally what I do. I literally just go up on top of gates and I just jump down so they don't see me running to the gate, and then this literally gets me most of the gates up. Especially if people ignore me like this.
Yeah, I mean that's a healer. They're not even looking for that, but now they are.
I'm looking to impact point, and then I'm looking to try to get my way to B again, because I'm a fucking rat. And then Guzzy's stopping me, and then actually in this clip, Insanity yells at Guzzy for being in B choke, and then tells him to stop being in B choke, and then we get the gate up because he was like, all right, I'll just let him repair the gate up, and then we repair the gate up, and you actively hear Insanity say fuck, and then he's like, everybody get out of the fort. So he got mad. And then after the war, Insanity gets mad because every single time he shot calls a war against me, I'm on the other side defending. I usually get gates up on him. I usually get B gate up on him. Yeah. But that's just like a snippet of what you do, right? Like even here. See how this is a good example actually. This guy's like, what is this retard doing? So you just notice how he just went in and he didn't see me come up to the gate. He has no idea this is happening. Well, now he does, but he didn't. That was the whole concept. And then I just go back to doing my job, right? Like just debuffing and doing what I need to do. But you're just looking to try to repair gates whenever you can. The most important thing is just making sure if the point tick is at a specific point, you're not repairing, okay? So if I'm repairing a gate, even if it's about to go up, it doesn't fucking matter because if the point loses, we lose the war, right? So why the fuck would I be repairing a gate? So between literally 50% to like 75% and above, I will be on point. So 50% and above, I'll probably be on the point helping. And then there's the VOD that I sent you in that repair VOD, whatever the teaching one I showed you time.
Mm-hmm.
In that one specifically, you'll see or notice, and I think I talked about it, where the point tick gets up to about like 50% ish, and then I run to point and I impact point, right? Because that's our job is to impact point. I impact point, and then I notice myself as like a shot caller who, or like just my experience in wars, I noticed that we're going to win that crash regardless. So then, even though it's at 50%, I leave the point and go to repair the gates again because I already know that I'm going to. We don't need it. I don't need to stay there. Yeah. That's it.
Bet.
Yeah. Group 8 VOD?
Pebble the Builder, real.
Yeah, you guys want to see my
Is that why Nova
hype
constantly
video?
yells at people
Yeah.
for like repairing?
Oh yeah,
watch this.
I'm like mad.
This is my history. This is the reason. Victimizing yourself, bottom side of point. We're just dying for no reason. But you just sleep and die. Oh my god, we're cracked, dude. We're absolutely insane. You guys are good.
What was that?
Oh, this is playing with me. That's crazy.
Every single fucking person should be stepping right now on the fucking point. Step in white. Step in white. Everything you guys have. Healers better be fucking stepping bottom side, you fucking retard. Step on the fucking point.
God, they're just.
I don't know if you guys are in this race or not, but I just saved somebody who was knocked down by vining the fucker that was trying to finish him. And fucking finished that guy while he couldn't get the kill to finish. It was beautiful.
I got him.
Ow!
I'm going as far as you go. You guys have bigger penises than them, I swear to God.
My message actually got removed. I'm mad still to this day. Pebble removed my message.
Wow.
Pebbles on the other team, so watch for
Yeah.
pairs.
Bro, the comms are
That
good,
is
bro.
definitely something that needs to be calm.
Building back to
They're
the
Just outside
Okay, the rest of this VOD is literally just me doing this for 2 minutes. I'm not even fucking kidding. It's literally just me doing this for like another minute or two.
They take B, they take B.
Oh my god.
The fact that we only had 2 minutes and I had that much like repair parts was funny as fuck.
Bro.
Good luck on your reset.
This is literally what I was doing too. I wasn't even.
Kill is having good.
I was eating, I think, while I was doing this.
He's just not even. He's just not even
Yeah.
at the keyboard anymore. He's gone.
That's
I got
crazy.
Pebble in there. He's gonna repair everything.
Oh no.
Not
Oh
that-
no.
This guy is an absolute hero for this.
20 seconds.
家にいられるとたまったもんじゃありません。日曜なんて大嫌いです。さてと。
Oh my god.